congratulations. That was an absolutely brutal session of cricket. How much did you enjoy being a part of it?
Yeah, no, it's always fun to get some runs. It doesn't always work out like that. But, you know, firstly, to be able to make my debut for Lancashire, you know, it's an immensely proud club with a lot of history, and, you know, to be part of that list of first-class players for the county, you know, I'm very proud of that achievement. And then, you know, secondly, to be able to be a part of what was an amazing day for the club. You know, there were contributions throughout the batting order, and you know, I think we put the Kent bowlers under some pressure and the fielders under a lot of pressure all day. And, you know, on what's been a pretty docile wicket, we now find ourselves in a position where, you know, if we bowl really well tomorrow, we're a chance to win the game.
Just going back then to the start when you were presented with your Lancashire cap and you were told you were making your debut, was it always the plan during this spell with the club during the T20s that you'd feature in some four-day cricket?
I probably found out at the start of the T20s when I first arrived. I think it was Marcus Harris was going home for personal reasons, and, you know, there was sort of a hole in the batting order there for me to fill. And, you know, I'm over here to play cricket. I want to play as much cricket as I can, and you know, I've really enjoyed my time in the county championship in the past up at Durham, and you know, so any opportunity I get to play cricket, I jump at.
Yeah, and just take us out to the middle there when you went out to bat, and kind of what your intentions were. I mean, I'm sure you wanted to contribute, but did you ever imagine you'd kind of make that type of impact?
You know, it's a tricky one because, you know, I fielded, you know, the last couple of days, and I saw at times it could be a nice place to bat, but we also saw it was spinning a bit. And as I walked to the crease, got a few nice balls within my first couple of balls from the leg spinner, and, you know, it felt a little bit harder, but it was one of those wickets that, you know, it's certainly spinning, but once you sort of get the pace of the wicket, you know, and able to adjust to the conditions, you know, it can get a little bit easier as you spend a little bit of time out there. But, you know, I think going into tomorrow, we're going to hope that it continues to spin, and you know, I think that'll be a big part of you know, the way forward for us and how we're going to win this game.
Yeah, we've only seen 19 wickets fall across the first 3 days, haven't we? But how confident are you, because of the scoreboard pressure potential, that you can put them under pressure tomorrow?
Yeah, obviously, you know, there's a game on the line, and, you know, with that does come pressure. You know, we're hoping that this wicket's continuing to deteriorate a little bit. Hopefully we can get a little bit of inconsistent spin. You know, we're going to have attacking fields for most of the day, I would suspect, and, you know, with that hopefully will come some opportunities, and, you know, then it comes down to a little bit of luck on the day. You know, can you find the edge? And, you know, as a fielding unit, it's our job to take the opportunities. We might create 10 chances, and, you know, it's up to us to try and take them all.
And just to broaden it out in terms of how much have you enjoyed your time so far with Lancashire? Obviously the team's had a very good Blacks campaign so far. Has that been good fun to be involved with? Yeah,
I mean, you know, there's been a lot of smiles on faces. I know that the first 7 weeks of red ball cricket didn't play out the way that, you know, the club would have planned, but, you know, the last, you know, month or so that I've been here, you know, we've had success. We're winning games of cricket. There's lots of smiles on faces. You know, guys are enjoying their cricket, which is, you know, at the end of the day, one of the fundamentals of the game. And, you know, I'm also really enjoying being in Manchester. It's a city that I've spent a bit of time in over the past, and, you know, it's a great part of the world. And, you know, Lancashire's a big club and with a proud history, and, you know, it's one that I'm glad to be a part of.
You're the 4th Australian to make a century on Lancashire debut. You know the other 3? Any ideas?
Kadich, North.
Nope. Marcus Harris this season, Jens Faulkner, and Andrew Simons.
There you go.
Good list
Very
to be
good.
on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well done, mate.
Thank you.